did have one last question actually, which I
Yeah, of
didn't ask
course.
with everyone, and I probably should have. I was just curious about the two populations of loggerheads. Are they genetically incompatible?
Yeah, completely different. I'll go back to it. If you can still see my screen.
Yeah, because I was just thinking, what a shame you can't do a sneaky cross.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, so they occupy the same foraging grounds, but there is zero interbreeding between the two genetic stocks. So they'll both occupy the Gulf of Carpentaria, but then when it comes to breeding season, they will build up their immune not immune systems. They'll build up their fat stores, and then they will migrate through the Torres Strait down the east coast, and they'll find a courtship ground, whether it be on the Great Barrier Reef or the top of the Ari, and then they'll come to their breeding ground, and they'll spend 6 to 8 weeks in the vicinity of their nesting grounds, and then they'll head back home, and they won't feed that entire time. And so if we were to lose this east coast population down the track, they would never be replaced.
Yeah. That's crazy. And do they ever get a bit confused? Do you find the East Coast going to the West by accident and the West coming to the East? Or they know?
Yeah, absolutely. So when the hatchlings walk down the beach for the first time, I probably meant to say this, they orientate to the Earth's dip and strength of the magnetic field. And that along with, they believe, another number of other olfactory cues determine how the turtles navigate back to within the region of their breeding ground, the region of their birth, to breed for themselves in 30 years' time. So I just love the idea of when we talk about hatchlings and we say, well, the ones that left the beach this year will come back in 2051.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, how old will you be? The majority of our volunteers won't be here anymore.
Yeah.
And so it kind of brings home that the people that are volunteering in these programs are not doing it for themselves. They're doing it for the greater good of their community and their environment.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah, I guess it is nice to have the same turtles coming back year after year. At least you have that. Yes, it's not the hatchlings, but it's the same adults, and you can get that connection with the individual turtles, which must be really nice for the volunteers that can see the same ones coming back.
Yeah, it is nice when we see them come back, and when we get a tag recovery, it's a real celebration, because it indicates that our volunteers have gone to the extra effort of doing a night walk to intercept a turtle that's on the beach. But also it means that she survived that 3 years or 4 years, and she has returned to lay her next round of clutches. And I think that is something that's really important too. Adult survivorship is critical to turtle populations continuing.
Yeah.
But also recruitment of those hatchlings in the lost years to the coastal environment where we can protect them is also quite critical. Once a turtle's back in Australian waters, we've got regulations and legislation that protects those turtles. When they are in international waters, they're subjected to fishing practices that we are unable to control, plastic issues that we are unable to control. So there's some critical pinch points, I suppose, in their life cycle that if they make it through that, but they estimate 1 in 1,000 survives, and I think we have about 7,500 to 8,000 hatchlings a year that leave our beach, and we don't get eight new turtles every year coming back to lay. And so the likelihood of survival is far larger than 1 in 1,000. It's probably more like 1 in 2.5 or 1 in 5,000. It's just not quantifiable.
Well, poor turtles. It's staggering the distances they go and the threats that they face and how many survive. And it's just it seems like the odds are stacked.
There are so many cool jobs you can do with